Hello, everybody, and welcome back to NCAA 2004. I had to remember what year it was in my head. We are at the end of our second season. And the Ohio State Buckeyes have won the national title. They beat Maryland, so they're not in the Big Ten together. So Maryland is still repping, I think, the Big East, but Ohio State is the winners of the national title. And now heading through some of our stats here, number 12, our quarterback, has a bit of a down year. Number 33, in his first year as a starter, has a decent season. 10 touchdowns is great. We will absolutely take that. Would have liked 1,000 yards, but it is what it is. The thing about Spears and Kelly, which is weird, is that Spears gets over the 1,000-yard mark and has 12 less touchdowns than Kelly. So tells you a lot about how our offense was functioning throughout the season. If your top receiver in terms of yardage and receptions is lower than the second receiver in terms of touchdowns by more than half, more than triple. It's absurd. So taking a look at the line here, we had a lot of first-year starters on our line who, just different, numbers, I guess, just kind of, there's not too much to look into when it comes to them in terms of like their numbers and their productions here. One of the last few players from the first year who's still on this team here, leading the team, our middle linebacker, number 8, doing a good job. And then there's kicking, of course. But looking over the top 25 here, Ohio State's at 1, Colorado State moves into 2, Miami at 3, Virginia Tech at 4, Maryland drops to 5, Texas moves up to 6, Southern Miss, who we played this year, finishes at 7, Arkansas, who won the SEC, falls to 8, Auburn's at 9, so a lot of SEC competition here in the top 25. LSU here at 12. Georgia comes in at 14. And then rounding out the top 20, we got UCLA, Missouri, Nebraska, and Toledo. And then in the back half here, we have A&M, who beat us. They're at 21. And then South Carolina, Arizona State, and Minnesota all creep in here. South Carolina and Arizona State getting ranked with their bowl victories. So here's a look at the SEC standings. We finished 7th in the conference with our conference record. Mississippi State actually has a pretty big collapse after our game here, falling to 8-5 on the season here. They had some pretty high hopes. Tennessee finishes 7-6, but their conference record was a lot worse in terms of the top half of the SEC, so they're a little bit further down. Vanderbilt, of course, holding up the caboose along with Kentucky. That seems to be pretty consistent. We had 5 double-digit win teams in the SEC. Here's how the standings went. Georgia beating out South Carolina in the eastern side here, and then Arkansas, of course, beating out Auburn and LSU. I think we pretty much hampered Auburn's chances for the title game because we win the Iron Bowl, so looking over our players leaving, the real big thing to focus on, a lot of those running backs and receivers are depth pieces, but we're losing a lot of people on the line. So D-line and offensive line are going to have to be kind of bolstered here through this recruiting season because we're losing quite a bit of them. And I already recorded this video once, and I think I didn't save before I went into recording the gameplay, and so I think my program froze. I can't remember, but it froze. And so I had to redo this entire offseason, and the first time was definitely better than the second, unfortunately. So, but we are going to look over our class here. We do get 3 blue chips here, 2 cornerbacks and a running back, so we do bolster the secondary quite a bit. We get some much-needed 4-star help here in our linebacking core. Also, our running back position has been completely revitalized. We do get some key positions here at guard and defensive tackle in the 4-star range here, but then it kind of quickly falls off to the 2- and 1-star range. So I couldn't really land any big tackles or anything like that, but we did get a couple guards that are going to help us out. So looking over the top 25 classes here, a lot of familiar faces from the top 25. Auburn here at number 6, our rival. We are at number 9 in the country, mainly just out of sheer quantity because of 20 recruits, 9 4-stars. So the first time I did this, I got quite a bit of 5 stars. Shockingly enough, a shocking amount of 5 stars considering, how our season went, losing our bowl game and whatnot, not even playing for the conference. But I got a shocking number of 5 stars. But this time around, we just loaded the class with 4 stars, and that's going to help bolster and build some confidence here in the team. So North Texas and Marshall round things out here in the top 25 of classes. Georgia at 21 too. So now we're going to look over some of our training results here. Our linebacker, number 8, one of the few players returning from the first season, is finally up to a 99 overall. So we're going to finally start getting some guys in the high 80s and low 90s. So this team should really, really be poised to do just something, just something good. Year number 2, I wasn't really entirely sure what to expect. We got a huge boost recruiting wise after year number 1, just because of how shockingly productive of a first year that we had. I didn't think we would be nearly that good. In real life, I'm pretty pretty sure they only won like 3 to 5 games, so we managed to win 9 in our first year, and that really helped out with the trajectory of how we're building this team. But year 2 kind of really took away from that, unfortunately, as we really struggled to just kind of find any consistency and struggled to really compete in our very, very tough schedule that we do have. And we will continue to have, because the SEC is just loaded. Even back in this day, man, several years prior, it's still very much loaded. I think we're going to have at least a guaranteed 4 to 6 ranked opponents on our schedule every single season, and it's going to be very, very hard, just in the nature of the game, not even just, talking from a life perspective, but through the video game, to try and have a winless or one-loss season and getting into a national title position, because we can only be in the top 2 spots to really have a chance at it. So it's going to be very, very difficult. We're going through cutting players. There's a lot of excess players and recruits I got. The recruiting assistants added a lot of 1 and 2 star guys that are probably just going to get cut here. We're probably going to redshirt this one of our safeties, this Troy Westbrook. We're probably going to end up just cutting him. But, there's some players we will eventually redshirt maybe. But either way, heading into year number 3, quarterback number 12 is going to start for us as a senior, of course. And he's up to a 94 overall. So big things expecting from him. Number 33 is also returning his senior year. He's going to start for us. Nate Allen, a freshman fullback. And then, of course, Kelly, Spears, and Carroll are going to be 1, 2, and 3 in the receiving core. We have a senior tight end here at 31. We have Wendell Smith here. We're probably going to shake some things up on the O-line because we have a lot of depth at that position that we can kind of move pieces around and get a much better look at things, because Gaither's at 68 at left guard is really not going to it's not going to work, especially when we have so many impressive guys behind him who could probably take over that role. So, and that's what we are absolutely going to do. We're going to start some guys here and get at least a 70 or better across our entire O-line. And then, of course, the D-line is in a similar position. We have some guys, some depth at the end position where we can move some people around here and get at least 80 or above. So the D-line's a lot better than the O-line is. We're still pretty weak on the left side, but we're doing better. And the linebacking core is also getting really better as everyone is in kind of like the mid-80s. And, of course, we have number 8, who's a 99, obviously the best player probably on the team, period, not just the best defensive player that we have. So our DBs, it's kind of a steep fall-off here. We have 26, who's a senior coming back, and he's a 90, and then after that, we're going to be starting a lot of sophomores and freshmen below him, so it might be a little bit weaker at the cornerback position, but we have great safeties who are continuing to grow and develop, and they will certainly help keep this team productive in the secondary, hopefully. So here's a quick glance at our schedule here. We're starting off the year ranked number 22, and our first game of the season is against the national title runner-up, number 5, Maryland. So already getting things hot here with an out-of-conference game that's probably going to completely derail our season, but we are going to switch up the coaching scheme a little bit here. We were really heavy on the run, which I probably should have changed a long time ago. You need to be a lot more effective passing in this game. It's going to help more in the sim if you do that. So we're going to change to a little bit more pass heavy here, and now after simming week 0, we move up to 21 because someone in front of us lost, and so we're heading into this game here at Maryland to play the Terrapins for the first game of the year, the number 5 Terrapins. So I hope everyone is excited here for year number 3. We got big things, big expectations, and I hope to see everyone in our first game of year number 3.